Hello again, welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from artaway.com. I don't know if you remember these two videos that I made a couple of weeks ago. I always have a few videos in my YouTube queue ready to go live. One of them was this video showcasing a few items I got from the range, and the other one was this one showcasing my new trimmer. And at the range I did get these, what are they called, revision cards, and I did say I would show a project with these using the mod Podge as well and using the trimmer. Right, you may wonder what on earth all of this is. Well, put simply, I'm going to show you how to make notebooks from really small, cheap, simple ones that do still sell well, up to some hardback ones that are being bound using this. So this is the We Are Memory Keepers Mini Cinch. They have two. They have like the regular one, which I would definitely have bought if I had room for it in my craft room, but I just don't. So this is the Mini Cinch. And what you can do is you can bind books, such as this cute little thing here. It's really sweet. Very easy to do as well. But that is for later. That's going to be the last one that I show you because it is the most complicated. So I also promised a couple of weeks ago as well, by the time this video goes live, that I would be making a video longer than my usual, and this is it. Because rather than do a lot of little videos showing you how to make all the different types of notebooks, I thought I would combine it all into one long video. And it's not going to be as fast paced as my normal videos are. I like to speed up everything where I can, which I will do on here, but not so much because there's quite a few things that I need to show you. Right, so everything you see here, I am going to be using. It might not be an exhaustive list because I always forget something. But the minimum that you will need to make a notebook is paper, scissors and glue. Does not have to be Mod Podge. You can use ordinary PVA glue, just the cheapest that you can find. That's all I used the very first time I made a notebook. You can also, at a push, use one of these if you want to use like some kind of ring binding. But it is time consuming, but never mind, if that's all you have, fine. A ruler if you want to measure and cut your paper using a craft knife. That's something else you can do. You can also use one of these. I can't remember what you call it. I'll put it on screen now if I can find it. But I will be showing you how to use that as well to make this very simple. Clips and things, yeah, I would say they are necessary, but you don't have to use them, because when you make the notebooks, especially one like this is going to be the first one that I make, and you put glue on the top there, and while that's drying it does need to be sort of pressed, but you can just put something heavy on top of it, like any books or anything if you have those. So I'm going to be using those at some point. This is repositionable glue. It's a glue stick. Now, I don't know if this is going to work because I've had it about 2 years. And you could use this to make sticky notes. If I can't find this one, I'll see if I can find something similar. But you can make sticky notes with these if you wanted those. A little brush for putting on your glue or your Mod Podge, but I also have some little sponges here. Probably won't use these, but there's a tiny little one there which you could use for applying to the top of your notebook. And these are index cards. A lot of people use these. I will be showing you what I did with these, but I haven't cut them straight because I didn't have my new trimmer then. Everything went haywire. Printer paper, cut down to whatever size you like. And of course these. Notebook number 1 is going to be this little thing. So like I said, all you need is paper, scissors and glue, to be honest. But if I do suggest that you use chipboard on the back just to give it a little bit of sturdiness, but you don't have to. Some people don't. And also if you want to make one, you could, with a pattern on, you could make your own pattern in a drawing program, and there are notebook insides that you can download from Canva. I'm sure there are some free ones there as well. Okay, this is my super duper trimmer. All you would need to do is trim down the paper whatever size that you wanted, say, I don't know, 4x3, and this cuts through quite a few pieces of paper at once. So that was 4x3. This is just an example, you can do them whatever size you like. And should get another one out of that lot. Just make sure it's straight. I'm not going to be perfect with this, it's just to show you how to do it, but make sure they are straight and very well aligned. You can use lined paper, you can use watercolour paper if you want to make people a little watercolour book. So just cut as many sheets as you like, make sure that they are aligned properly. Here's one I made earlier in true Blue Peter fashion. So I cut quite a few pieces of paper. This is, like I say, I haven't focused on perfection because this is just to show you the process. You would obviously take a little bit more time to get everything right, but this is going to be the top. And if you don't have chipboard, I've put a piece of chipboard, I've put some chipboard on the back for stability, and I've put chipboard there as well, because when you put these on, they can leave a mark in your paper. If you don't have chipboard, you can just use a piece of folded up paper like that. Just put it on there, away from the top, just keep it a little way from the top, because that's where your glue is going to go. And if that doesn't fit, so I'm going to use a larger one here. I think I just got these from Temu, they've been great. So just put it on there like that. And that just keeps everything steady and even and in place. I'm going to use Mod Podge, but of course you can just use any glue like I've said. And to be honest, all I'm going to do with this, I haven't even opened it yet. And honestly, all I'm going to do is just dip my finger and just put the glue along the top like that. Don't go too mad, you don't want it spilling over the side, but make sure you do give it a good thorough coating so it gets into all of the bits of paper that you have on. And Mod Podge is water based, so but just be careful if you might not want to do this if you have sort of an intolerance or something to glue or anything like that. Just use your own discretion. You might want to use a little paintbrush, the one that I showed you earlier. You might need 1 or 2 covers. Oh, that's bad. So if I were you, I would put on an extra couple of sheets just in case. See what I've done there? It's gone onto the front sheet, which might leave it a bit tacky. So you could put an extra sheet on the front just so you can rip it off and you don't have to worry about it, because it is probably going to show through. So now I've done that, and I'm going to clamp the top as well just to keep it all closed up. Again, utilising that chipboard. It doesn't look very pretty at the moment, but that just keeps it all tight together. But if you don't have clamps, like I said, you can just lay it flat and just put some books or something on the top of it just to give it that bit of pressure. So right, I'm going to set this to one side for however long it takes to dry. I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, however long it takes to dry, and then we'll come back and have a look at the results. Right, I've been and had a snack and a cup of tea, and I think this is dry now, so we'll just take these off and have a look. Yeah, that seems very, very dry. I do suggest that you do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it gives a really good stick. But like I said, I'm just going to show you how to do it, and then where you take it from there is up to you. Now, because that does have a little bit of glue on, I think you can see at the top there, I'm just going to take that off. Tears off really nicely, and there you're left with a little tearaway notepad. I think that's really good. I like it. So if you don't want to use your ink, because I know it can be costly to run some printers, you can use index cards, or you can use something like this. This has got sort of a dot grid, and it has lined pages. Basically all you do is you can use them like that, but obviously this has got a hole in, but you can cut these in half, or you can cut these in half, which is what I did for this. And I'll be showing you how to add bits to your notebook when they're already made as well. And basically, I mean, this is literally just a test, and that's why there are not many pages on, just to see if I could use that new contraption I've got. But you can just use these. You can use any lined paper that you like. Like I say, this has dot grid as well. So here's one I started earlier. That's obviously the top. I meant to cut it at 4 by 3 and completely forgot and ended up cutting it 3 by 3. But never mind, this is just a little mini dot grid. So I just got some of this and just cut it down to the size that I wanted. But I think I'll do a one with the lined ones as well at some point. If you are interested in seeing the different types of notebooks and planners and all sorts that you can make from scratch yourself, preferably using chipboard, please let me know, because I would be very excited to do more videos of this kind. So I'll put that to one side for now. So this, like I said, these are all just practice ones. They're not meant to be sold or taken seriously. But this is a very simple one where you can use staples. Very easy again to do. So you just take your paper, and this time when you're cutting it down, it needs to be double the length that you would need. So say this is 3 inches, you would have to cut your paper at 6 inches, and then when you open it up, you've got 3-inch spaces to write on, if that makes sense. What I did was cut a cover, I think it was about 1/8 of an inch larger. You can use card, you can use pattern paper, you can use anything. So I think this, I cut it to 6 1/8 by 3 1/8, and you just fasten it together. So I'll just quickly show you how to do that. I'm going to cut this down to 6. Like I say, make sure that you get it as accurate as you can, but I'm not too bothered for this project. You can either score each piece to make it easier to fold, or you can just fold it over like that. Just get it as accurately as you can, and you can do this as many times as you like for as many different pages that you like. So you will notice that you are probably going to end up with these bits like that. So once it's all stapled together, you can just trim that off with a craft knife. So this would be 3 3/4 by 6 1/4. So all you can do is cut this down. I'm going to cut this down to 7 3/4 by 6 1/4. And I am hoping it's going to fit under here. So I'm going to fold that in half. And I am hoping that is going to fit on there. Like I say, it's no massive deal if it doesn't, because we are going to be trimming a bit off. this, like I say, this is just the very, very basics. You can obviously take a lot more time. So all we need to do is make sure that it's at least even at the top and the bottom, and then we can put that on there like that. And when we fold it over, like I say, there is going to be a little bit sticking out, but we're not going to worry about that for the moment. Actually, I don't think my stapler is going to reach in there, but we'll see. Just make sure it's as straight as you can. And from the outside, I don't think that's going to fit. It's not going to fit. Yeah, so you're probably going to need a larger stapler. Right, so what I did is I just put it in my trimmer and trimmed just a little bit off either side, just to try and make it fit. I haven't done trimming yet, so it doesn't matter if it looks like a total mess. But then you can just put a couple of staples in, one at the top and one at the bottom. Like that, and then you're left with a little notebook like that. So, like I said, you can either put it in your trimmer, or you can use your craft knife. If you have a cutting mat and a safe ruler, I definitely need a safe ruler. And what you can do is just, because this top cover should be straight, is just line it up with the edge of the cover and just keep trimming until it's all cut through. It is fairly time consuming to do it, but it is worth it. You should get a better cut than that. But if you find that your cut isn't quite as smooth as you would like, then you can just use a nail file. Or you can put it on your trimmer and just trim the pages down. Yeah, not perfect, but you can, like I say, you can make notebooks like that, or just sketching books, notepads, and it's very secure. The pages aren't going to go anywhere, and you can decorate it how you like. You know, decorate the front, the back, add pockets of things inside, whatever you want to do. But that's just another way that you can make a notebook. And I forgot to show you this, didn't I, at the beginning? But yeah, you can use one of those as well. So these two are quite time consuming, but certainly doable. I do know, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where people have actually, they make a really good living just making notebooks, shopping list pads, notepads, just by using the printer. And if you have a cutting machine, even better, because then you can get the pages more accurately cut. But you can add your own design, like I showed you before. You can add your own design on these, print them out. I sometimes use little notebooks that I've made just to make notes on projects and project measurements or stock prices, weights, measurements, anything like that. Right, another way to do it. It's not the most efficient way, but it is a way that you can do it if you wanted like a little bound one, like a ring bound one. So if you had two of these, I got these from Temu. I'll try and see if I can leave a link. But if you wanted a wider book, you could put two, like one there, one there. You could measure, you could have as many as you like. But this is a rather awkward way of doing it. But just as an example, if you wanted to use this, just a normal hole punch, you would just need to mark out where the rings would go. And then just punch holes through there. Obviously you would do it a lot tidier and more accurately than I'm doing. This is just to show you another way you can do it. And then what you do is you take these little rings open them up, pop them through, and there you have a little notebook, a little bound notebook. I think that's really cute. And you can do the same thing with one of these. Like I say, I'm not sure of the name of it, but you're not, although this is quite small, you're not limited to the size of this little contraption. It's got measurements for A4, B5 and A5. So you wanted to make an A5 width notebook. Just make sure you don't have too many of these on at once, because it'll chew it, it won't do it properly. It won't go through the paper because it'll be too thick. But what you do is just line it up to the A5 line. Give it a punch. Yeah, that wasn't very straight, was it? And then if your paper was larger, you would just pop, I think it's the second one on there, like that. You would pop that in there, and then you would punch, and then you would move it along again until you come to the second one. Pop that in and punch, and then you end up with your large size paper all punched, ready to bind. And then you would just do the same as you've done with that. Just put them in there. Use as many of these as you want. You could cut them down, I suppose, if you wanted. And that's how you can make a little notebook like that, a little bound one. But these are very time consuming ways to do it, but they are doable. And if you're just starting out and you don't have the money for all these fancy contraptions, bookbinding contraptions, then these are certainly doable. And I know people, I've watched videos of people on YouTube who've started off just making notebooks like this. Oops, not that one. Who've started off making notebooks like this, just with different patterns on, and making a really good living out of it. This sells shopping lists, they sell little mini planners and all sorts. So this is the one I've been looking forward to doing, making the proper bound books using this. So I got this from Amazon, I think, and it came with a package with some book boards, I think they're called, similar to chipboard for backing your books, and also a big box of these. These are what you use to bind your books together. I'll be showing you that in a bit. And the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is make the covers for these. You can make these as large as you want. I'll be showing you in detail how to use this later on. So I'm just going to pop this out of the way now, but it's a fantastic little device. So I think I already have some chipboard and some paper cut. Yeah, so that's going to be, they're going to be together like that. You can use any paper that you like, you know, just whatever you have in your stack, really, your stock. Stash. I'll get it right in a minute. So, what am I going to use for the pattern? I'm going to be using this paper from Echo Park. It is I'd Rather Be Crafting. Beautiful paper set, and it has some stickers in as well. So I've chosen the paper that I want to use. Right, I also have a video on using one of these. It's for bookbinding. It's to help with bookbinding anyway. I'm going to measure how much paper that I need. It's usually about 1 inch. I can't really see there. Yeah, that's about right. So I'll leave that on there. And this side, I'm going to measure about 1 inch there and 1 inch there. I'm going to cut these down to size using my super duper trimmer. So I want this is to be on the outside, so I'll turn that over and put that on there like that, just to make sure everything measures up, and it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put tape on the back of here because it's faster, but construction glue would probably be better for this. Now I'm going to remove the tape and stick it on there. Definitely not perfect. I'd be shocked if it was. Now you can use the book binding tool for this, but I'm just going to use my scissors. So what you need to do, I'm going to cut at an angle. Leave about 1/8 of an inch and then angle it again so it looks like that. You just get a better fold. And then to help the paper to stop cracking, just sort of bend it over gently on each side like that. Just be very gentle, just sort of training the paper to bend without cracking, just very slowly. If you want to, before you start bending it, you can give it a crease with your bone folder. That should help it to bend a bit better as well. Just be very gentle with it. And then when you're going to stick these down, do opposite edges first, and then we'll be coming to these later. Okay. So I am going to put tape on there again. If you want to, of course, you can put glue on over the tape. Right, before I stick these other two sides down, the best thing you can do is at each corner just push it in a little bit like that and like that. It should make for a neater corner then, just a little bit, and then when you push that over like that, the corner should be a little bit neater. It looks a bit more professional, I think. Do the same with this side. They look quite neat. If you look at that side now, the corners look very, very neat. Right, so now we need to cut some card to cover the back of that. Right, so I've cut that about 1/4 of an inch smaller all around, and you could use tape again to stick that down. But I'm going to use my, where is it? My construction glue. It's best if you wear a mask and use it in a well ventilated room, because this is strong stuff. But it is so good because it won't buckle your paper or anything. It won't show through once it's on. It takes a little while to dry, so you can get it into position. You can have that little bit of wiggle room. There we go. And there is one side for your hardback book. So I'm going to take a break from filming. I'm going to do the other piece off camera, and then I'll be back to show you how to put it all together. Well, it wouldn't be an Rotary video if I didn't make at least one blunder. So I've made 2 for this one. So the first one is this supposed to be the lining paper, and I put the glue on the wrong side. So I had to chuck that away. And secondly, if you're using directional paper to make your front and back cover, make sure you do them the right way. So this one was made vertically and I made that one horizontally. But never mind, I'm going to put that at the back so perhaps nobody will notice. I'm going to give these away anyway and I don't think anyone will mind. Right, so for this I'm going to be using the Mini Cinch machine. Comes with a little pair of pliers, and like I say, it came with that box of binding things, whatever you call them, and the book boards as well. So the first thing you notice, it is clipped down there. That's just so you can store it without that thing popping up like that. But I'm going to leave that there for now because I just want to explain a little bit about this machine. I've done quite a bit of research over the past few weeks about this. With the regular size cinch machine, you can use regular size rings for the binding. But for this one, you can only use, I think it's 5/8 inch ones. I will double check that to make sure. But it doesn't matter to me because they're big enough to make books. A decent sized book, you could make a decent sized planner using those rings. So, as you can see here, these are what help you to measure your punch for your size paper. This is essentially a punch. It punches out squares like that. So if the pages you want to use are whole or, oh dear me, you can't see that, it's whole or in 1/2 inches, you can use that top measurement A. Sorry, it keeps going out of focus. And B is for your 1/4, 1/8, 5/8, 8, 3/4 inches, A4, A5, A6, A7. And C is for your 3/8 and your 7/8 inches. Oh dear, that was a mouthful. So for instance, if I wanted to make an A4 size book, I would take some A4 size paper, and this is your little, what's it called? And this is your little guide. So if I want to make an A4, this is A4 sheet, I'd put it on B, which has the A4 measurement. So this is B there. B. So you put it in there. And when you put the paper in, you'd put it against there and push it right into the back there and punch. Very easy to use. So there's your first set of punches, your holes. Then you can take away that. Do not lose it. Put it straight back in when you're finished with it, because if you're anything like me, you will lose it immediately. Right, now you see here, that has another little guide there. This moves up and down like that. And it sticks onto that hole there. So that hole, the second hole in your paper has to slide in over that hole. So I'll move that in. 1, 2. Once your second hole is over the hole in the machine, you put that down like that. So that is now really tight and it's not going to move. And then you just punch again. Lift that up. Perfectly spaced. And then once again, put that in the second hole. Push it down. And punch, lift it up, and there you go. Perfectly spaced punched holes. And then you can just insert your ring binders. Very easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do all of that, but that's just to show you the way that you can measure the paper. Now if you have, say you have paper like this, right, that is say it's 3 inches, it isn't 3 inches, but say it's 3 inches. There's the centre there, so you put that in there, and you would make sure that this is the same on either side. So just under 3 3¾ and 3 3/4. Just make sure it's the same on either side, and punch, and there you get, oops, I mean obviously this isn't measured properly, but that's what that centre part is there for. I didn't show you it, but that says centre and that says centre, and that's where you would centre the paper that you're going to use. So again, if I'm going to put that in, if I want to punch that, put it in the centre and make sure that it's the same distance at either side, the same distance from the 4 there, punch, and then you get it in the centre there. Very, very easy to do. Right, now to get on with the book. So this is strong enough to punch through chipboard, so what I'm going to do is put that in the middle like that, in the centre. So you can see it's in between that line and that line there, between the 1/4 and the 1/4. It's just about halfway between the 1/4 and the other mark next to it. Just make sure it's even as you can. And punch. Oh, it takes some doing, but it does punch through, and you can see that is fairly even there. I'll do that with this one the same. That's that done. And then just do a few sheets at a time for your paper in the exact same way. So this is a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower, so I'm going to make sure it's lined up as far as possible. And make sure that it's lining up with the covers. Yeah, that seems to be lining up nicely. So I'll carry on with the rest of these. Right, so they're all done and they're all lined up nicely now. And just another word about these, if you're not quite sure what I meant. So this is 5½ about. So what I would do, because it's a 1/2 inch, the hole in the 1/2 inch goes in letter A. So if your card measures either a hole like 5 inches or 5½ inches, 6 inches, 6½ inches, you would put it on there, because that's the hole and your 1/2 inch. Then you would put it in there like that, punch it, take that out, put it back, and then move it over to the second hole over there. Put that down so it doesn't move, lift that up, and there you go. I didn't measure, this wasn't 5½ inches, it was just almost 5½ inches. That's why it's not quite even at that side. But that's just to show you how to use this measuring guide there. It is very easy once you get used to it. Right, now this is the tricky part. It's not too tricky, but you have your middle of your book, you have your pages, and you have your front cover and your back cover. So that's going to be my back cover because it is the wrong way around, but never mind. So this is going to be the front cover. So now we need to get out our actual rings. I think that pink would go quite nicely, so I'll use one of these. So now we count the holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's how many of these that we need. So count the loops there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anything from here onwards we are not going to need. And then this came with a pair of pliers as well, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, that didn't cut very well for some reason. So I'll just cut it down a little bit more. So then you take these and you put, that's what these are for, is to rest the little rings in like that. And then you take your pages and you slip them over slot them into the rings. I'll slot the rings into the holes there. Now this is where the tricky bit comes in. You might wonder what on earth I'm doing, but please trust me on this. Then we put the front cover on, and then we take the back cover and then turn it around so the back side is facing you, and then you put that on. Trust me, it is necessary to do this. And then you lift them up like that, and this is where we're going to close the rings. So you make sure it's centered, you put them both in like that. Make sure that the bottom and the top of the rings are touching the back of the device, and then all you do is force that down like that, and that closes the rings like that. Then, because if you can see there, it doesn't look very pretty, but now you can take the back cover and fold it over, and there you have a much nicer and neater ring binding. And that's how easy it is. Very simple to do. So there you go. Because that's hidden in the back page now. And that's how easy it is to make the notebooks using this Mini Cinch. I love it. Honestly, I absolutely love it. And I am looking forward to making things like planners and sketchbooks and watercolour pads and things like that. You can make all sorts, and you can do it just about any size that you like. So I mean, if you wanted to, you could have put the holes down the side and have a book that opens that way instead. Which I wish I had done now, because it would have been a bit different to this. And then all you can do is just decorate it how you like. You can put stickers on, you can put any decorations that you want on. You can make any size book. I mean, that's just adorable, isn't it? That's just really gorgeous. And these, like I say, these were all just practice ones. It was definitely worth getting the bundle with all of the backing board and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what you call these. They are rings, aren't they, for ring binding? I'll have to look it up, because I watch something or I learn something and then I immediately forget. My memory's like a sieve. It's ridiculous. So once again, to cut these, that is the cutting part of the pliers. You just put it in the back there and cut it like that, and it just comes off. I've cut that one off because I bent it, but they're very easy. If you use the pliers, I mean, you might even have some in your house if you don't get the bundle with this, but yeah, you can just make your books as long or as wide as you like. And like I say, I wished I'd put them down there now to show you an opening one, but never mind. There are plenty of videos on YouTube on using this, so if I haven't explained it very well, which I probably haven't, then please obviously go ahead and do your own research if you're interested in this. It's just, I think it's amazing, and there are people out there who use these to make a really decent living. People make planners and calendars and just all kinds of things using this. And even if you don't have this, of course, we've shown you how to make, I mean, that one's a bit pathetic, but it's still doable. And this is, like I say, we'll go through it again. This is your simple one, just by putting your paper together and putting some glue on the top, a little bit of chipboard on the back for some sturdiness. And if you wanted to, you could download some images off. You can download planner pages and all kinds off Canva. You could design your own. This is one I designed myself. And of course there was this one. just made using staples. Again, very simple to use. I know it didn't look simple the way I did it. I always make everything look twice as difficult as it should be. But these are all the different things that you can make, the different ways that you can make notebooks, starting from barely anything. I mean, if you don't have chipboard, you could use some cardboard from a cereal box or a tissue box, stick a couple of pieces together and cover it in paper like I did with the back of these, and then you've got a sturdy back for your pad. And of course, if you don't want to use your printer, you can buy something like these and just cut them up, whatever size that you want. These are just cut in half to make that tiny little writing pad there. Oh, and I was going to show you as well, I'm pleased I saw this, how to make it. Say if you made a little planner or a little album and you wanted to add extra pages or extra things into it, it's very easy to do. So I'll say I've made a divider and I want to put it in there as an afterthought. I could punch some holes in it and then very simply get a pair of scissors. Hang on, I'll just put that away. Get a pair of scissors and just cut down the tops of the holes like that. And then wherever you want to place the extra page, it should just slide in like that. And there you go, an extra page or an extra planner page, an extra album page, just there, just ready to slip in. And you can do that, and you can make as many dividers as you want and just slip them in like that, no problems. So there you go. I hope that was useful to you. I wonder if it's given you any ideas, or if you would like to see me create anything specific using any of these methods, but particularly this because I love it. I really appreciate you watching. I always appreciate every view, every comment, every share, every like. It's all really, really appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye now.